What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 31 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB, aka the Herald of Doom, and I am here with the Council of Villains, my boys Abe and Steve. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. You know,
Yeah.
We out here. I'm gonna keep the energy upbeat because I know a couple people were emotional this week. They were a little emotional this week, and for good reason. Actually, I just realized that could refer to different things. A lot has happened this week.
Yeah,
I'm referring to the subject matter of this show. I know that got a couple people emotional, but I also know that there's been a lot going on this week. So we're gonna keep the positive vibes and the great energy here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this week really been a roller coaster because you get the Chadwick Boseman episode on Wednesday. They did a Kobe Bryant documentary on Wednesday. I was just like, yo,
I can't, bro.
I was like, come on, man. So yeah, this week, and I was like, man, it's my birthday. I'm not supposed to be feeling like this. So, and then the Kang Conqueror dropped on Wednesday. Wednesday was huge. The Kang Conqueror, it was huge, dropped on Wednesday, and then the Pokemon announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course it was your birthday, sir. Like, we're not gonna forget that, right?
Wednesday was crazy. I was like, this is.
He was just gonna be like,
Happy birthday
bro,
on stream, by the way.
Thank you. It was
I already gave you your birthday stuff, so I'm not telling you right now.
It was so up and down. I was all like happy. I was all like, oh, Pokemon, shit. Oh yeah, man, we get to see fucking Chadwick Boseman. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. Came to Conqueror, yeah. And then that shit happened. I was like, the Kobe documentary was what got me. I was like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah. A lot's happened this week, but like Abe said, we're gonna keep the positive vibes up. We have a lot of great shit to talk about here on today's episode. We're gonna be talking some Black Canary news. We're gonna do a brief review of the new Eternals trailer. That's gonna be sick. The new What If episode. What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord? And then we're gonna have we're going to have some fun at the end of the episode just talking about some of the best and worst comic book movie sequels. So again, this is going to be a really, really fun show. And then right at the end, we're going to be giving away 2 Kang the Conqueror #1 variants. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. There are actually 12 variants in total. Abe got 4. I actually went to the comic book store today and I picked up like 6 more. All of the ones that I could find. But yeah, those variant covers are so dope, man. So yeah, so we're gonna be giving away 2 Kang the Conqueror #1 variants. All of the variants are flames. The winners will get to choose which variants that they want, to make sure that you guys get exactly what you want. So make sure you guys are here. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're in chat. And that's all you got to do to be entered into the giveaway. So let's go ahead and start off the episode. Let's talk about the Black Canary movie news. So it was just released earlier today. Slash Film reported that HBO Max will be making a Black Canary movie that will debut on HBO Max, and it's going to be written by the creator of Lovecraft Country, Misha Green. That show has been nominated for so many awards. So many people have been talking about Lovecraft Country. I haven't seen it yet. Have you guys seen Lovecraft Country?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm perfectly content with there just being like one season and that's it. I'm perfectly content. As far as the Black Canary news, we kind of saw it coming with Birds of Prey. Like Birds of Prey, I felt was there. Hey, yes, it's Margot Robbie, but also we want to introduce some more and build from there. So that's how I always took it. So I'm not surprised by this. Pretty dope that Misha Green is going to be working on this. Her and Journey Smollett already, of course, have a pre-existing relationship. I'm excited to see how this movie goes. I know. Shout out to one of our supporters of the homie, Spicy Lady. She tweeted about it and said that, yo, as dope as this is, we do have black original characters that you could have still given us, because technically Black Canary is a white person. Now she's black. That's perfectly fine. But when can we get a live action Vixen movie like Spicy has been advocating for? That would be flames. I'd rather see that than the Black Canary movie. But in due time.
Dude.
Um,
So I didn't mean to interrupt. Real quick, you just said something so intelligent, right? Wouldn't DC is always trying to capitalize on what the MCU has done? Get to Africa, give us that character like right now.
Yeah.
Give us Vixen right now. Give us a Vixen movie. We can go from Africa. That Vixen movie can take us through time. Because right at the beginning of the movie, we can start off with one of their predecessors and then come to the current Vixen and their story in modern day and how they use their powers as a black woman in this society. There's so much that you can do. And yes, am I happy that a black woman is going to get her own movie on HBO Max as a DC property? Yes, but like Spicy said, like you said, Abe, there's other black female characters that are originally black in the comics that deserve their own movies first or a series. But continue.
I mean, again, it's just like last week or the previous episode where we talked about the Superman projects coming out. And it's like, you're giving us a black Superman, you're making Clark Kent black when we already have a black Superman. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. It's just like, again, in this case for Birds of Prey, they made this decision years ago. So this movie is not like, hey, they just decided to make Jeridel Banks. If you've seen Birds of Prey, they already had that plan. But we could get some black solo films. Like give me Vixen, give me Steel, for example, not the Shaq Steel.
Not the Shaq.
not that one. Not that one. Give me low key, a Martian Manhunter movie would be dope. Because for the most part, John Jones has been portrayed more as a black man in most media, especially the comics too. They've gone that route. So you're not like would be a performative. Plus, the only thing I liked about Supergirl, really, the first 2 seasons that I made myself watch was Martian Manhunter. I was like, hey, that's my nigga. It was good. So yeah, just give us. I'm going to watch the Black Canary movie because after giving Black Widow shit and then really enjoying it, I'm not going to do that again. But please give us a Vixen movie. I'm hopping on that Spicy Lady train and saying, give us a Vixen movie.
Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm iffy about it just because, obviously the same way you guys are. I'm hyped to see a black actress, things like that. From mine is just from a DC standpoint. Like, it's just always been, where are we going with this as far as the direction? But I'm not mad at a Canary movie. I like Journey Smollett. I liked her in Lovecraft Country, and I didn't know that it was the same director and everything from Lovecraft Country. So that actually is a bright upside. You know what I'm saying? That's a breath of fresh air, because Lovecraft Country was really good. Like Abe said, the ending of Lovecraft Country first season, you could really end it there, and that could just be a good ending. But seeing all the things that they were trying to, portray and bring to the table, I'm actually disappointed that it didn't get picked up for a second season. But if it does get picked up, do we still get Jonathan Majors as Kang? Do we still get this Black Canary movie? Do they have the time to do it? So that's the only good thing, I guess, the bright side about it. But seeing this Canary thing, I'm actually I'm kind of indifferent about it, just because I just don't know how it's going to be. Birds of Prey was okay. It wasn't bad like everybody was saying that it was awful, but it wasn't.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't mind blowing to me. I just was like, oh, it's all right. It's an all right movie. So I'm wondering if they can make this better. And then what kind of villain are they going to bring in? Things like that. I'm actually excited. Are we going to actually get our first introduction to Green Arrow into the DCEU? What are we going to get with this? So I'm intrigued by it, for sure.
Yeah, same, man. Like, I'm definitely intrigued. I don't know where I land on my excitement level just yet. Journey Smollett is a very talented actress. I thought she was pretty good in Birds of Prey. I really like Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was just Deadpool, but Harley Quinn. And I think it worked. I think the fight sequences were really, really good, all in camera, perfectly lit, great fight sequences, perfectly choreographed, and we got to see more of that in the Suicide Squad. So I thought that was dope. So yeah, man, I'll take it. Like Chris was saying in chat, like why does it seem, kind of like the female properties are just ending up on HBO Max, and it's like, I don't know if they just want to try to get more subscribers. Like maybe these are properties that they don't think will do well in theaters, but they know they'll get subscriptions off of it. So maybe that's why they're doing it. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm tempering my expectations. I'm not really sure where I land on it, but sure, I'll take a Black Canary movie. Like you were saying, Steve, like I would love for this to be an introduction for Green Arrow in the MCU. I think that would be dope. And we could probably do like a fan casting one of these episodes on who would be a really good Oliver Queen in the movies.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be dope. Yeah, man. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We will definitely have more news on this whenever it drops. We will be talking about it on Villain. So yeah, stay tuned. Next piece of news up: Eternals trailer. The new Eternals trailer come out. I believe this was the final trailer for Eternals, and this was the best trailer yet. I completely get why they saved this to be the final trailer, because there was just so much amazing shit. I believe her, Chloe Zhao, her directing style, her cinematography is fucking incredible, bro. Like when you look at the trailer, you look at the stills, it is absolutely breathtaking. Getting to see the Celestials, one of the Celestials forming a fucking galaxy right before our eyes. It is going to be absolutely amazing, bro. So I want to know, Steve, I want to start with you. What were your thoughts on this final trailer for Eternals?
I was super hyped about it. And even like the little dialogue that they give you, they're like, why didn't you help us with Thanos? And they were like, we were told not to interfere. And then they kept on saying, we love these people. We care about these people and stuff like that. So now they deciding, okay, we're going to step in and stuff like that. So that actually had me intrigued, and I was hyped about it, because now I'm like, with their super strength and things like that, because basically he had the eye laser beam and shit like that. I'm like, this is fucking Superman. And I'm like,
he has cosmic energy manipulation and optic beams. Insane, bro.
I was like, all right.
Icarus, right? Am I saying it right? Icarus?
Yeah, it's Icarus. Yeah.
I mean, he is basically that MCU.
I just was like, super hyped, because I'm like, where do they fit? As far as like, are they going to be too overpowered to bring in when they do stuff like these collab movies with Civil War and stuff like that? Are they too overpowered to come into these universes and fight, or how are they going to do this? So I'm excited to see how this is going to go, because I definitely want to see everything. And I'm a fan of I don't know if you guys watch Atlanta. But Paperboy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan of Brian.
Yeah, Brian Tyree Henry.
I was so happy when I saw the posters, because I saw the posters first before the trailer. I was like, yo. I mean, I still haven't really watched a full season of Atlanta. I will, but of course I recognize him easily, and I'm just like, so he in the FCU now, bro. He got the bag.
His character has matter manipulation. Oh my god.
He got the fact he playing in the turn. He got the bag,
bro, and he's been in every universe now. He's been in a Marvel movie. He's been in a DC movie, because he was in Joker. He's been in he's been in another one. I can't remember. Somebody shared it.
I mean, he's been in the Monster universe.
Yeah, he's been.
Oh yeah, he's in Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, they was all like, he's been in like every universe. He's like the Mr. Universal is what they were calling. But then seeing Angelina Jolie, which I was like, okay, it's about time she's in a Marvel movie. You know what I'm saying? You can't just waste that. And Salma Hayek as well. It just looks like it's a good cast, and everybody's coming together really well. Then you get to see Jon Snow, even like have glimpses in there, even though they didn't show much of what he can do. They just kind of show glimpses. So I'm wondering what's going on. But yeah, that trailer looked bananas as far as like all the action and thing that's gonna be joining in. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, Chris mentioned in chat he was also a voice in Into the Spider-Verse. He was Jefferson.
Yeah, that's right. He was Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much for bringing that up. But like you were saying, Steve, before I let you go, Abe, what will be their impact in the MCU after this? I don't think there will be, because remember, they're not allowed to interfere unless there's deviance. From this trailer, we learned that because of the the shockwave from the Infinity Stones from the snap happening 3 times, it opened up something that allowed the deviants to come back through. So that's going to be really, really interesting. And once the deviants are gone, I'm sure they'll be gone. Because like you said, they're way too OP, right? Even when the MCU introduces Galactus, in order for you to feel that there's some sense of dread, it can't be the Eternals, right? And someone on Twitter was like, "You want to know why the Eternals weren't around for Thanos?" And then they show this clip of Kumail Nanjiani using his abilities. It's like, yeah, because they would just use matter manipulation and just erase Thanos from existence. Yeah, so that's why they didn't interfere. But Abe, what were your thoughts on this?
Boy, all I gotta say is the Celestials. The Celestials look so, because I was always wondering how they would make the Celestials look, because I mean they are on a big scale, you know. And if we're ever going to see like Annihilus, Galactus, and whatnot, the Celestials, depending on how the Celestials look, that'll let us know whether Galactus will look dope whenever he comes in.
I mean, we've already seen 3 of the Celestials, so
yeah, and the Celestials they look exactly like their comic versions. It had me excited, and JB, Steve, the first thing I said in the chat, right? I was like, the Beyonders coming. And I was like, no, actually, the first thing I said in the chat was like, ooh, we get it, Dr. Doom, Battle World, he about to kill the Celestial. Let's go. Look, man, they look fire. They look fire. The story, I'm really excited for it. That's all I can say. I'm really excited for this. Like, yo, this joint is gonna be lit. I don't know which movie I'm more excited for between this one and Shang-Chi, because Shang-Chi is going to be the best.
That's crazy.
MCU film fight choreography ever, until another movie with Shang-Chi or Iron Fist, because them doing a good job with Shang-Chi. When they bring in Iron Fist. If they bring in Iron Fist, I do fully expect that his fight choreography will be much better than what we got in on the Netflix Marvel show.
Yeah.
Hope so until then.
And again, they ran out of time. They didn't have time to properly train for the fight choreography.
Man, that Shang-Chi, I mean the extended clip from the bus scene.
Dude, what? Dude, I lost my shit, bro.
So I was like, the ass whoopings in this joint is gonna be phenomenal. But hands down, phenomenal. No question.
You think the fight? Well, I know it's gonna be that legit. Do you think we'll get Blade fight choreography that legit when it comes out?
Oh yeah.
You know what?
You think it'll be up there with Shang-Chi?
Oh yeah. It will be up there, but it won't surpass Shang-Chi. It won't surpass Shang-Chi.
I'll
it should be up there.
Yeah, because I mean, Wesley Snipes set the stage. I mean, when he started as Blade, he was already like a huge martial artist, so it was very easy. You know, not very easy, but it was easier for him to do all of his own stunts and make all of that shit look good. So there's no way that Kevin Feige would allow them to make a Blade movie and not have the fight choreography be amazing. Because I mean, the MCU, Marvel Studios owes a lot to Blade. So you have to pay respect to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it brought them out of the hole and everything because they were this close for bankruptcy, and they did it. That Blade was the saver.
But yeah, man, super hype for Eternals. Like, there's so many things we could talk about. Like, every single frame, just looking at that cinematography is just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I can't wait to just watch a 2-hour version of all of this amazing cinematography, bro. And even the VFX, even just from the trailers, like watching them use their cosmic abilities, it looks so good on screen.
It doesn't look cheesy at all. I mean, 10 years ago, this y'all would look cheesy as hell.
Dude, Icarus's optic beams looks insane.
I'm like, somebody been watching Superman movies and like, how can we do a good job of this? They're like, we got you. Say less. Don't say no more.
Yeah. But yeah, any other final thoughts on the Eternals trailer? I know there wasn't like a bunch in it. Like, I don't want to do like a breakdown of the whole thing.
Well, I do want to point out Edlin's comment. Shout out to Edlin and Guardians of Unit, by the way. Sin is out there streaming. I popped in and he, JB Sin said, shout out to the C4S fam. Much love. We hope we have a good show. So Hey, shout out to you, Edlin, as well. But she said for her, Shang-Chi for entertainment and Eternals for information in regards to which one we prefer better. And that's actually the best way to put it. I think Eternals will be the most informative. Even though I agree with you, JB, we probably won't get them again. Like, if anything, we'll get them in cameos or most likely cameos. I don't see any of the
cameos, references, yeah.
But the information that this, because I'm still holding out that we get a tease of the Beyonder, in this film. I think that it could work. If not in a what if film, not in a what if episode, I think that Eternals, I feel like strongly will get a Beyonder cameo. I could be wrong, who knows? But Shang-Chi off the entertainment, Edlin, I absolutely agree. It's going to be so entertaining, especially if you just like martial arts fighting type films. Like, that's what I love about Shang-Chi. And that's why, again, because in the beginning, I was like, I don't know much about Shang-Chi. I don't really care. It wasn't until the trailers came out, I was like, oh, never mind. Let me take all that shit back.
Yeah, bro.
Because we all love it, man. We all love Ray. We love the Jet Li films, the Jackie Chan films.
I've heard so many reviews that says this is the best martial arts movie since The Raid, which is fucking nuts.
Yo, the Raid,
when you really think about it.
I've never seen Raid 2, but Raid 1, oh my god, Raid 1 was crazy.
Dude, the Raid franchise is like John Wick. It just keeps getting better.
Wait, there's more than 2?
Huh? No. There's just 2. But I'm just saying in terms of 1 and 2, like 2 just gets better. It just gets crazier and just better.
But yeah, so hey, that entertainment, Shang-Chi is gonna surprise people, because I think, all right, I know we weren't supposed to go in depth, but we must address the controversy. It was more just miscommunication in terms of how Shang-Chi is going straight to theaters rather than also being put on streaming services.
Good.
And I was like, hey, we just want to test it out. And I know wording there was iffy, but I fully expect, in terms of pandemic numbers, I do think Shang-Chi will touch or surpass what Black Widow has done in theaters. And part of that is like, yes, common sense. Well, Black Widow also dropped on streaming services, so that definitely affected his number. Absolutely. But I countered that point with the fact that the current state of the world in the pandemic, the Delta variant and whatnot, has people worried. I don't know if we'll ever go on lockdown again, but people are more scared. I still think that Shang-Chi is going to have fans come out. People are going to be like, oh, I can't see a streaming service. And of course, they'll go their legal routes, but it's not going to outweigh the number of people like, yeah, let me go to the theater. Majority of people do like a good fighting movie, a good martial arts movie. So I think Shang-Chi it's opening weekend. What was it? Black Widow in the first 2 weeks did 69 mil.
That was just Disney Plus. But I think opening weekend in theaters it made about the same. Yeah, I think you're right.
About
I'll have to look.
I can see. I'll say Shang-Chi does 55 mil, minimum 55 mil. I think they do that. Because
I think it does like 65, closer to 70. Especially since it's not going to be on Disney Plus, people can't pirate it, and they want to avoid spoilers, so they will go opening weekend. So with the pandemic and all that, I think 65 closer to 70, and in terms of worldwide box office, bro, I think Shang-Chi could definitely touch like 700 million easily, because it's going to destroy the box office internationally. As a matter of fact, I think 500 plus million will just be international alone by the end of its run. So we'll see.
See, and I agree on that, like how you said it's controversy, because it's like Black Widow just went straight to Disney Plus, and for this one to go straight to theaters, I can see people being like kind of outraged and how that could all turn out and everything like that.
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much for the correction. It made 80 million in theaters opening weekend.
Okay. Oh, then I gotta up that 55. I gotta put it around where you have it, 75 mil.
Yeah.
I gotta put it, because I thought it was around 60. I put it 75 mil, like minimum. I think 75 mil.
Yeah, I mean, I would love 100. I would love 100 plus million.
Ooh, I'm not gonna go 100 because we are still in the pandemic.
Facts.
But I mean, hey, look, I'll say this: California, most of California is getting a stimulus check in September. True. So I'll say California's about to pull out, about to show out for some Shang-Chi. I'll tell you that right now. So about 60 mil might come from California alone. You feel me? But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for these films. I'm so happy as a comic book fan. I'm so happy. So,
Yeah, man, extremely excited for both of these movies and No Way Home, man. Like as MCU fans, we're really eating this year and next
Yeah,
year too, and then the next couple of years because Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios already said they're going to be putting out like 3 movies a year for a while. So we're gonna have some great shit. Real quick, Kevin Feige also talked about that Loki season 2 is actually going to be going into production soon. So that's good to hear. That's going to be interesting to know when that lands. It's like, will we get Loki season 2 after Multiverse of Madness? Because we know Tom Hiddleston is going to be in that movie. So that'll be a cool way to, after we get the conclusion of the Multiverse of Madness, to bring it back to the TVA and see what's going on with all that stuff. I think that'll be dope.
that I'm so excited about like just Marvel in general right now because it's like even when we're not getting a movie, we're getting TV shows, and then as soon as the TV show ends, like a week later, a movie's been coming out. So it's been so fucking good, and I'm thinking it's gonna do the same thing for the next couple of years because you got She-Hulk TV show, you got fucking what's the fucking dude, night
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. So you got Moon Knight, you got fucking She-Hulk, you still got fucking Loki coming out again. Is TV shows are just they're gonna be that in between like fix that you need in between these movies. And then what if I'm not mistaken, already has a season 2 scheduled.
Yeah, it's gonna happen
So
at some point. Yeah.
yeah, so that means we're just gonna have these little branches like just to give us that little fix until another movie comes out. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, last piece of news that I wanted to talk about before we get into what if. I almost forgot about this, but Riri Williams will be making her first live action appearance in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. This is fucking incredible. Because there's actually a comic where Riri visits Wakanda. So that's going to be really dope. I want to read that comic, and then I can't wait for this movie and see how she plays into it. I can't remember who brought it up on social media, but someone brought up that they would love to see her being in Wakanda being a result of Wakanda opening the borders for people to learn and like learn more about their technology and all of their advancement in like healthcare and stuff like that. And we know Riri's a genius. So her genius with like maybe Shuri's like a professor or some shit, like getting to be in Wakanda to see their tech and how it works, and like I just can't wait to see that and how they're gonna handle Black Panther 2 in general. So how do you guys feel about this news and Riri joining Black Panther 2 before her own series?
That theory is actually spot on to me with him opening up and that technology and everything like that. And then at the end of the first Black Panther, all those kids run up and they're like, oh, okay, is this a spaceship? And there's technology, but there's a little girl there. If they want to, they could be like 5 years in the future or something like that. To kind of age her up a little bit and they're like, this is Riri. You know what I'm saying? Or she didn't
well,
get
funny enough,
she
it
didn't
is
get
age
snapped.
5 years.
Yeah, because she didn't get
Before the
snapped away.
snap. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
So, yeah, you could be like, she didn't get snapped away. Boom, and then you just already aged her up, and then boom, you got her. So, and there was
Facts.
literally a little girl standing with that group and like kind of excited and stuff like that. You could just randomly be like, that was her the entire time, and that would be dope as fuck.
Yeah, for me, definitely hype. I did express concern in regards to I hope that it is like it was mentioned. She's from outside of Wakanda and she's brought in maybe on a learning visa. Um, you know, I because there's a lot of pressure on Black Panther 2 at this moment. And I think it even increased even more with this What If episode and how good it was. Like everybody's looking like, all right, Black Panther 2, what are you guys going to do? Like, how are you going to fill that void that Chadwick Boseman has now unfortunately left for us? So I hope they don't try to overcompensate. They don't try to do too much. Just make it flow naturally. I know losing Chadwick Boseman is a big loss, definitely big loss. But don't allow this opportunity to be like, yo, let's throw Riri Williams in here. Let's try to distract the fans, and then boom, it's like, oh yeah, Riri Williams, she been living in Wakanda forever. You know, like no, don't do that, don't do that, because she's not Wakanda. Like she is a young black girl, one of the smartest people in all of the Marvel universe. I think like top 5, top 10 maybe. I think top 5. Like she's up there in
top 10
with,
for top 10 for sure.
With Reed, yeah, with Tony Reed, she's up there. So I don't want you to kind of like be like, hey, let's meld it. No, she's a black American. Let's hype that up. A black American woman. Let's not take that away from her. But I am looking forward to it, because for this to be her debut before Armor Wars, I feel like works better. You know, because I'm gonna want to get some backstory and whatnot, and I'm not sure Armor Wars will be able to dedicate that amount of time to giving her adequate backstory when we have so many players to be concerned about in Armor Wars. So I'm content with this. I just hope that they don't try to do too much. I'm excited. I was so hyped to see that. Riri Williams is great. Definitely check out the Ironheart comics.
Yes.
We'll probably end up reviewing that in the future, whether on live or on one of our segments for the Patreon
Definitely.
or elsewhere. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. Chris, I definitely think Riri is attending the Science Institute that T'Challa set up. Definitely. Like, that's exactly how I want her to be introduced into the MCU. I want to start off with her genius, you know, like showing exactly what she's capable of, and then get into the superhero that is Ironheart once we get to the series. So MCU is undefeated, man. I've been saying this. Like, this is the perfect intro. Like, you get her into Black Panther, we get familiar with the actress, we get to see exactly the type of person that she is, and then she becomes Ironheart on the series. So, yeah, man, we'll see how Black Panther 2 goes. Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige, they will do this story justice. They're not just going to make this movie and just throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. I think they're really going to do something really magical, and it will honor Chadwick, and I can't wait. Yeah, but this wasn't the let's get into the what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord episode. And this will not be the last time that he will be voicing T'Challa in What If. He's going to be voicing T'Challa in episode 5, 8, and 9. So this won't be the last that we heard Chadwick's voice, which is still, I'm excited and I'm sad at the same time, because throughout this entire episode, I was really hype, especially with everything that we learned that Star-Lord did throughout the galaxy. It made me really hype, but to know that Chadwick could never give us any of these performances ever again absolutely broke me. So let's get into it, and I want to know your general thoughts on What If episode 2.
Look, baby, yo. So I had said leading up to it, it's gonna be emotional time, and I was like, all right, Abe, are you gonna be emotional about this episode? And to be honest, I was never given the chance to be like emotional about it, because off the gate, just pure comedy. I was laughing the whole time. I was like, yo, T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman as Star-Lord would have been phenomenal. Yo, Guardians of the Galaxy would have been 10 times better. Oh my God. It would have been 10 times better. Not in the sense of like, as we get into details, some of his accomplishments, because there were two, he wrapped up conflict nicely without much action for it. But just the dialogue, the jokes, it would have, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, I thought was already a pretty funny film. Definitely better than Volume 2, in my opinion. But if T'Challa was in that role, oh, it would have been funnier from a different avenue. I mean, I had a smile on my face the whole time I was watching it. I really, really, really just enjoyed myself. And it's unfortunate that outside of What If, we won't really get more of Chadwick Boseman. But I was definitely happy to hear that this is not the last time. Like I thought, it is not the last time we'll get a performance from him. So I'm excited to see him in the remaining episodes, and especially the type of route he takes. Because if you paid attention to Chadwick Boseman's what is it? I should say his credits, his filmography.
Yeah.
He knows how to play different roles. I mean,
beyond versatile, man.
Yeah, I remember when he was streaming, you mentioned Message to the King.
Yeah.
Yo, that was the first Chadwick Boseman movie I watched following Black Panther. The first one because it was on Netflix,
Right.
and I was like, oh okay. Oh, Chadwick Boseman. I had just watched Black Panther like last week. All right, let me see what this hitting for. And I'm like, oh, this busted. I'm like, yo, the plot twist in the movie. I was like, oh, I'm Chadwick Boseman through and through. I'm a fan through and through. So I'm excited to see just the different takes that we'll get from the remaining his remaining performances in What If. And in terms of this episode, again, I just had smiles on my face the whole time. Just smiles. It was a fun, hilarious, just comfortable and very honoring episode. They did well to just honor who he was, not as an actor, but as a person. Chadwick Boseman was, I mean, keep in mind, he was battling, what was it, stage 4, I believe, for years. For years. And that didn't stop him from acting. That didn't stop him from the philanthropy work he was doing. And this episode did a great job of capturing that side of Chadwick Boseman. Like, this was a man who cared about the people. This was a man who cared about the community. And yo, if I ever wanted a show to dedicate an episode to me, I want them to do it the way that they did this episode 2 of What If. For sure.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Beautifully said, dude. And by the way, Popaholics is doing a Chadwick Boseman month right now. So go ahead, so make sure you subscribe to their podcast and go listen to their Chadwick Boseman episodes. I believe they have like 3 or 4 up right now. Chris, please correct me if I'm wrong. But Steve, general thoughts.
My general thoughts were like, this episode is completely different than what I thought it was going to be, right? Because the first episode of What If, Captain Carter was pretty much just like, you know what I'm saying, Captain America, just from her perspective. It was just small details, little things that happened. But this episode was completely different than Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, they're really like going back and forth and like really showing like, we're gonna keep you on your toes. You're not gonna know what the hell we got going on. I loved it. The episode in general, like you said, it was very warming. I didn't ever feel like upset and sad hearing Chadwick Boseman's voice. It was very just warming. I didn't, I guess, really just be like, dang, he's gone, until like at the end, it was like in loving memory. But for the most part, the whole episode was just like, it was just dope. It was like a good episode. You got to see all the different things that he brought to the table, of like the differences of him and freaking Peter Quill, because it was more so like, I'm just like helpful. I'm a problem solver. I have this name for myself, this perspective that I bring to the table, completely different, and it changed the entire universe, the entire galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know what I'm saying, Peter Quill, it was kind of just like these things happen. So I really enjoyed it, just that different direction that they took, because I definitely was thinking, oh, we're going to see the entire thing again. You know what I'm saying? The entire Guardians of the Galaxy 1 all over again, just with T'Challa. And it kept me on my toes. I definitely enjoyed that. It was completely different.
Yeah, man. I'll just echo everything that you guys both said. Like, I love that it was so different. And Steve and I talked about this right before we went live. But just the fact that you can have a branch reality that has everything that's so close, except like maybe 1 or 2 things. And then you have another reality where things are completely different, and then one reality where it's like right in the middle. So I love that they're playing around with that with this What If series. I think it's a really, really cool idea. And like Abe said, like, they truly honored Chadwick Boseman and what he stood for in real life. His philanthropy, like Abe said, the type of person that he was constantly trying to give back. Like, Denzel Washington helped him out to get a scholarship to getting to acting school, and he's been constantly giving back what he was given. And he was such a great man. And I was looking forward to the day where I could meet him. You know what I mean? One day, C4S would be big enough. I will be able to go to a press junket. I'll be able to be on the red carpet at the Chinese theater, and I'm going to shake Chadwick Boseman's hand. No, I can't. It's really sad, but like you guys already said, and like everyone in chat is saying right now, his presence was just so warm in the episode. He shows up on screen, and instantly you feel like everything's okay because Star-Lord is here. So let's get into the episode itself. And what I like about this episode is that, to me, the tones felt like Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, and Black Panther all rolled into one, because this episode was a heist episode, which I thought was fucking amazing. Right? So at the beginning of the episode, we're on Morag. Of course, we get Jeffrey Wright's amazing voiceover as the Watcher. We're on Morag, and we see T'Challa Star-Lord walking up into the same room, grabbing the Power Stone a little bit differently. And then Korath comes in, and then T'Challa says, "You may know me by another name," and everyone knows who Star-Lord is. I thought that was fucking amazing. The fact that he is this Robin Hood of the galaxy. Absolutely loved it. So what did you guys think about that opening sequence?
Oh, Abe's on mute.
No.
I loved it just because, like, even with like the small differences or whatever, like, because I was just thinking it was gonna be like, you know, pretty normal. I was like, all right, he comes in, he's got his mask, his Star-Lord mask has purple instead of red eyes. So I'm like, okay, the Wakanda joint, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. And then he has the necklace on. He gets the Power Stone pretty much. And then he comes in, he's all like, you know what I'm saying? You might know who I am. And then he's Star-Lord. And you get to see that difference between how he reacted and how he acted when it was Star-Lord as fucking Peter Quill.
Yeah.
It was like who last time, but then now he's like super excited. He's like, and then they did the little callbacks. I should be bowing. Should I be bowing?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and it just was like really dope to see his perspective too. Just because he was like super hyped, and it was like, instead of him just being this unknown robber, it was like he's this big glorified, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like you said, Robin Hood he does so much. Even though he's supposed to be an outlaw, he's like, he does so much for the galaxy that everybody loves him. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool that he was just getting that praise.
Yeah, man.
For me, look, first of all, I'm a big fan of Shimon Unsu. I love him, and this was
one of the best character actors, period.
Absolutely. And this was actually my first time really seeing him in such a comedic role. Like,
yeah,
he was
right?
that shit. Like, throughout that, like,
it's
but here he was that
legendary outlaw.
He's like, hey, put the guns down. Hey, you know who this is? This is Star-Lord. And I'm like, oh man, this guy is cheesy. Because, all right, even before that, like you mentioned, JB, he said, you may know me by another name, Star-Lord. And, you know, in the original Guardians of the Galaxy, they're like, who? Like, the fuck is a Star-Lord? What does that mean? But for the swag, the aura is just like, oh my god, it's Star-Lord. Oh my god, it's Star-Lord. I can't believe it. I'm in front of Star-Lord. And immediately I just couldn't help but laugh. Like I said, this episode was just full of laughter and just smiles for me. I'm just like, I expect it fully. I fully expect T'Challa to just have that aura about him that's like, yeah, people know who that is. Star-Lord? Oh yeah, people know Star-Lord. And it was just so fun to die. Like, he's like, so should I bow or should I kneel? I feel like I should kneel. Should I kneel? He's like, and he's like, no, not like. I was like, I thought he was gonna say, we don't do that.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I thought that's what's coming. He's like, no, I'd rather you not. He's like, oh, well, you hired? No, I'm willing to hop over to the other side. I can overlook this if you're gonna let me join your team.
That was funny as hell, bro.
He's like, he kind of full.
It's like, I have hired worse.
Yeah.
He's like, well, then I'll be honored to fight you. He's like, all right, let's fight. He's like, bam, hits him. He's like, oh my god, I'm starting. I'm so sorry. He's like, no, that's what we're here for. No. Oh my god, I was, again, I couldn't help but just laugh and smile. Like, this was such a fun episode. Like, from rip, we still have so much more to cover. But just within the first 5 minutes,
yeah, man,
pure comedy, natural, and just a great way of portraying Chadwick Boseman. Like, for his one of his last projects. Well, technically his last project. What if it's his last project?
Yeah.
This was a great way to view him, because keep in mind the 1 year anniversary of his death is next Saturday. So you know what, this is a great way to go into that weekend, just like, yo, one of the last Chadwick Boseman performances I saw was him at Star-Lord with the swag, the drip, like, yo, the outfit. I was like, hey, that's still very Wakandan. It's like, this man stayed true to the soil.
Yep.
I beg. I was so hyped, man. I know, JB, you watched this episode 6 times. I know you got thoughts on this. I know you do.
Yeah, man. I have so many notes, and there's so many things that I want to talk about throughout the episode. But I thought this was such a great opening. I love Yondu's entrance into this episode as well. T'Challa has Korath on his shoulder, and he's surrounded by all of the Kree guards and whatever. And T'Challa's like, a Ravager does not what does he say? Does not stand alone or some shit.
Yeah. No, a Ravager does not fly solo.
Yeah. A Ravager does not fly solo. Yeah, man, but like, his performance is just so full of life. Yondu comes in, clears out everyone, and then we get the great flashback back to where it all started. The moment that changed everything, right? So we see Taserface and Kraglin end up in Wakanda after T'Challa is telling T'Chaka, yo, like, I am stuck in this bubble. I don't want to be in this bubble anymore. There's a huge world out there and I want to explore. And they just pick up this random kid. I'm like, bro, you guys are racist. Peter Quill's white. T'Challa's black, bro. Look at the picture. Look at the hologram.
Look the same to you. He's like, yeah.
So what did you guys think about that twist, right? Like, that's the reason why they didn't pick up Peter Quill, because they kind of was just in the area. They found the first energy source that they found on Earth, and because they saw T'Challa, they just picked him up. What did you guys think about that?
For me, I like this because, all right, so in Captain Carter, well, one of the things is not big decisions that garner. I'm still going to refer to it as a Nexus event.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody says, right?
Well, it's technically not a Nexus event unless it's like damaging to like the time stream. So like Cap going back in time to Peggy, that's not a Nexus event, but it's still a branch reality.
So what I liked and what they set the tone for was like, it's not a big decision or big event like, hey, I killed somebody and things went a different route. It was more so, as we saw episode 1, Peggy's, instead of saying like, yeah, I'll go, she's like, no, I belong here as well. And this term in episode 2 is Yondu saying, hey, no, I got people who can take care of it. A simple decision that we won't really think much of as like, oh, being very consequential. It's like, hey, it's just an instant. Like, yeah, instead of me doing it, I got a team. Why not let them take care of it? How often will we do that ourselves? As for those who are content creators and are leaders, when you build a brand and you have your own team, you often delegate.
Yeah,
that's what Yondu did. He delegated. So ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna be like, you shouldn't have done that. He did that, and it led to the finding of T'Challa. And it made perfect sense. They were like, yo, the cosmic signatures was off the chain. It's like, yeah. And T'Challa was like, well, yeah, we're built on a vibranium meteorite. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Simple enough for me. It makes sense. I get it.
And that's multiverse theory. Every decision that we make creates an entirely new reality. Like if I decided not to do
small.
Yeah. And no matter how small, and that small thing can literally destroy reality. We've seen that in Flashpoint. You would never think that just saving one human life from death would literally be the catalyst to all of reality being destroyed. So I love that about multiverse theory. But Steve, what were your thoughts on this small change that made T'Challa become Star-Lord?
It was the same thing as what Abe was saying, where it was just like, when he even said, he was like, if there's any kind of alien force that was there, he said it was there. And he was like, if there was any kind of space, anything that was there, he's like, it was there. So that's why it was off the charts, because Wakanda, like he said, it was on vibranium. So I thought that was really, really dope. And then it stayed true to what T'Challa really was. He always wanted to open up the world. You know what I'm saying? Open up Wakanda, as there's so much more out there that I want to see. And it just made sense to like, oh, okay, well, there, because I mean, he's a smart kid. I'm sure he knew. He was like, I'm getting kidnapped, but he was like, I just want to see the rest of the world. And then Yondu says, what about the rest of the universe? You know what I'm saying? So
Which
of course
I thought was amazing.
yeah, of course I want to see it. Like, of course. So it's like, it's one of the things where it was like, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting taken away, but I'm getting to see everything. I'm getting to explore. And I think that was really dope that we got to see that aspect of him and him staying true to the original character of him just always wanting to open up the world to Wakanda, open up Wakanda to the rest of the world, where this was just like, I'm getting to see everything. I'm getting to explore. So I thought that was really dope and it made sense. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah, man. I thought it was great. It made perfect sense, like you said. This kid that just wanted to see the rest of the world, ended up getting to see the rest of the entire galaxy, and multiple times over. And T'Challa's impact on the universe is huge, but he may have only saved us for a certain amount of time based on what happens at the end of the episode, and I can't wait for us to get there. But let's get into that scene.
Dog, people die every day. the lives of the few
outweigh
the lives of the many.
The lives of many.
And lo and behold, he saved a lot of lives. Okay, so I'm cool with it. As long as you know, to reveal spoilers, as long as I got a way up out of here, so I'm cool. Me and my own. If we could get up out of here before then, I ain't gonna be mad at him. You feel me?
Yeah, but I love we get that flashback to 20 years later, and it's T'Challa, some of the Ravagers coming off the ship, and they don't disclose what planet it is specifically. I'm not sure, but they're in this bar. And Korath is asking T'Challa about his adventures and how he defeated the Mad Titan. And then fucking Thanos shows up.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I got spoiled by the timeline, but it was still really, really like impressive to see Thanos just show up in this episode and then to find out that he's a Ravager. And he's like, I'm not too big to realize when I was wrong or to see a different path. And T'Challa was able to show him that there was a different way in order to expand resources in the galaxy, right? I absolutely love that. And T'Challa was like, talk no jutsu, bro. Sometimes the best way to win a battle is just with a decent conversation, man. I'm paraphrasing, but
out of every MCU character that we've come to know right now, who would have been able to use talk no jutsu the best? T'Challa, Steve Rogers,
Sam Wilson.
I don't know, because I feel like for Sam, I can see it, but I feel like he wouldn't have had the confidence because it would have been like, yo, I'm learning too. He wouldn't have had the ease like Steve Rogers, and especially the way T'Challa was portrayed, to be like, hey, let me just hit you with this talk no jutsu real quick, and we'll see where we go from there. I don't think Sam would have had it, especially like, hey, if it didn't work out, he's just like, all right, well, we fight. I'm not really going to hurt you. Let me just bob and weave. And then it's just like, all right, Sam is going to get hit. But for me, it's Steve Rogers and T'Challa were the only ones who could effectively use talk no jutsu like this, with, of course, T'Challa being number one. But man,
yeah, but like Eden saying in chat, like, you got to remember, Sam was a counselor, man, and he helped a lot of soldiers. So I feel like he would be able to understand how to help Thanos into finding a different path. And this episode,
in the what if episode, sure, because Curran, like, no, he wanted the hand, baby, he wanted the hand.
Yeah, man, but I absolutely love that entrance to Thanos, and then we get a blonde Nebula. Like, what did you guys think about that? A blonde Nebula that was not torn apart, ripped to pieces, and replaced with tech, like the other version that we know from the main timeline. So what did you guys think? Were you guys surprised? Steve, I want to start with you. Were you surprised to see Nebula in this episode, like, at all? Did you see her because she's a Guardian, right? So did you expect to see her? And what were your thoughts when you saw how she looked?
So first, I didn't get to touch on the Thanos thing. The Thanos thing was more so.
Oh, my bad.
I knew he was going to be in the episode because I saw Josh Brolin in the opening credits, but I did not know he was going to be a Ravager. So that was like the one that surprised me because I was thinking, oh shoot, how is Star-Lord going to beat Thanos? That's what I was thinking we were going to see. I was like, how the fuck is this going to work? But but seeing Nebula though, as the blonde and she's dressed up in a nice dress and everything like that, that really was shocking. And then the fact that she wasn't torn apart and stuff like that. And I'm like, is it because T'Challa got Thanos on the side early? He didn't torture her as much, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wondering what's up with that. And then like I was like surprised to see Nebula in general because I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna see T'Challa and Zamora relationship. That's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a real interesting thing. And then when Nebula shows up, I'm like, oh snap, okay, this is different. And I'm wondering, like, is that what they're gonna hit?
Yeah, this Star-Lord wants the other sister.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely thought that was really dope. I thought that was interesting. And the fact that we got to see her in a whole different light where she wasn't as angry all the time and just just defeated and upset about like jealousy towards her sister and things like that. I thought all of that was really dope to just see that different growth and different side of her.
Yeah, man, definitely. Abel, what were your thoughts on seeing Nebula?
Okay, so if I had to say there was a negative, the negative wasn't really about Nebula herself. It was the Cha-Cha victim. I was like...
I thought it was hilarious.
Cha-Cha?
Every time I heard it, I was like, I don't like that. Like, don't call it Cha-Cha. Like, because, of course, I also, as a big anime fan, I like to watch all my English content with subtitles. So every time I just kept reading, Cha-Cha, I was like, no. Don't do that. But in terms of Nebula herself, I was actually happy to that they decided to use Nebula instead of Gamora. Although I know, as C4S had tweeted earlier, we got the T'Challa Funko Pops pre-order that you can start to pre-order now. I mean, JB, I'll drop it now for people to know. So
let them know.
Look, go. Probably they debut September 3rd. So it's up to you, JB, whether September 3rd we do the giveaway or we wait until September 10th to do the giveaway. But we're going to have the T'Challa, the Captain Carter, and the Gamora Funko Pops are all dropping September 3rd. Yo, 3 lucky winners. If you subscribe to the Patreon of Careful with Spoilers. We're gonna do this will be our first Patreon giveaway. I believe it's the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this will be our first Patreon giveaway. We're gonna give away the Funko Pops. We'll either do 3 separate winners, or maybe up to you, JB, Steve, and of course Vash. If you just want to do one winner wins all 3, just whichever works. But subscribe to the Patreon for sure. Shameless plug. Subscribe to the Patreon for sure to enter that giveaway. That giveaway will give you more details in the coming time. But back to the whole Nebula thing.
Real quick. I will say you have to subscribe at the $3 tier. That tier will also come with 32 episodes of the Best One, Worst One podcast.
There we go.
Behind the scenes pictures, videos. So you'll definitely get a huge value with the $3 tier. So yeah, any new subscriber to the $3 tier will instantly be entered into that. And I think it would be cool if we do that giveaway during one of Chadwick's other performances in What If.
Hey, perfect.
So
perfect.
Maybe like episode 8 or 9, we can do that giveaway.
Okay.
Then. That'll be really dope.
So all you gotta do is just subscribe to the Patreon. Be a patron, all right, and then you'll be entered automatically. And we'll get you your stuff. I mean, we've had previous winners. Edlin is in the chat. She won the Loki, and she actually won the full collection of the Loki.
Yeah.
Comics issues 1 through 5, and plus I think 1 issues of War of the Realms to tie it in. But yeah, back to Nebula. When I saw the Gamora Funko Pop, I was like, wait, we haven't seen her yet. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that must be Nebula. And then I went back, I'm like, oh, this says Gamora. I'm like, okay, so we're probably getting Gamora maybe next week or very soon for them to already have her Funko Pop ready for pre-order. And again, all 3, T'Challa, Captain Carter, and Gamora all dropping September 3rd. So I was like, I'm glad that they were giving Nebula her shot. I really like art. She was a sleek, like femme fatale type character.
Loved
like,
it.
Yo, like, yeah, you could try to mess with her. She'll F you up though. She'll F you up. I like that little love, interesting between her and T'Challa. Again, I wasn't really feeling the cha-cha nickname. I was like, nah,
I like the cha-cha.
I can do without that. Like,
Yeah.
if I was to give this a 10 and I was to be petty and be like, all right, I'm going to take points away, I'm taking points away for cha-cha. Like, I'm taking it
I thought it was funny,
half
man.
a point away. I wasn't feeling
It's so
cha-cha,
Nebula
like,
too.
it was like the first time, I was like, oh, okay. Then the second time, I was like, just reading it, hearing it, saying it, no, I'm not feeling it. But yo, great job focusing on Nebula rather than giving us Gamora. Let Nebula get her sign because she ain't get a fair shake in the MCU films. I mean, she was a child of trauma, of manipulation, of abuse. So for her to not have this, and then again, the back and forth with her dad, like the big guy, like you doing another job for the big guy, that is your fault. You lucky I'm even calling him the big guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I bet.
I like the little thing that Chadwick said as well. I mean, T'Challa said as well when he was like, he's a gardener now. He doesn't do that anymore, and it just makes you think about when he was gardening. I like these little slick little things that they're doing.
Yeah. After the snap, he basically became a gardener. He was like, yo, let me live in my hut. Let me just take care to nature. And it's like, all right, so no matter what version, what multiverse we're in, some things are still the same. Like,
yeah.
Thanos was gonna be a gardener regardless, whether he won or not. He was just gonna be like, well, let me retire and just take care of some plants and just mind my own business. I was like, that's dope. That's dope. I liked it.
Yeah, man. I thought it was really, really funny. But Nebula lays out the whole plan to T'Challa and the Ravagers, and this one thing could have solved all of Thanos' problems. If he actually put his time and his resources into this one thing, he could have cured famine. So Nebula tells us that they're going to steal the embers of Genesis, cosmic dust from an ancient supernova, and 1 ounce could restart the core of an entire planet. Just 1 ounce. So having this entire thing, you could feed billions. You can get rid of famine in the galaxy, bro, with this one thing. And there's other stuff within the galaxy that's similar to this. And Thanos had multiple ways to actually save life in the galaxy. So what did you, and I love the joke. What did they call him? Captain Genocide. Thought it was fucking
Yeah. Oh
hilarious,
my
bro.
goodness. Yo, yeah, let's go back to that bar sequence. They're like, yo, dog. I mean, it was genocide, and it's like, but it was efficient.
It was efficient.
And they were like, and then they all started laughing. I'm like, hey, say what you will. Here's my thoughts on what Thanos' plan is. I never really said it publicly like that. Look, I know the discourse throughout the whole thing was like, yo, well, you just see Infinity Stones to multiply our resources. One, humanity itself and all life forms would have learned their lesson. Eliminating half is an efficient route to go. And just off a snap. Legit, just snap your fingers and half, and then, of course, they would have to adjust. Captain Genocide, I'm gonna just wave my hands and I'm gonna let you go, JB. You take it from here. I'm just gonna say I'm not against it. I see the vision.
Yes, I also thought Thanos' plan was quite efficient, but at the same time, you really could have just used the embers
villains.
of Genesis. Steve, what are your thoughts on this, bro?
Villains.
You know it, man.
C4SVillains. By the way, y'all, can y'all do me a favor right now? Everybody watches. Can y'all just hop on Twitter and just drop the hashtag C4SVillains for me?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna go and retweet, like everything, quote tweet everything. Just drop that for us because, like, and 2 of the 3 have spoken. Steve. I mean, hey, what you expect, baby? You know me.
The funny thing is, right?
I get it.
Steve's favorite villain is Reverse Flash, the guy who would go back in time and murder children to make sure that Barry can't have friends, and he calls us villains.
we at least being efficient and humane. A snap of the finger.
Look.
You out here with supporting a guy,
and it's random and fair.
Yeah, let me just go F with someone's whole life history by going back. Nah, you can't say nothing.
He only fucked with one person's life. It's different.
Has what if not taught you anything? All it takes is just one drop.
You're right. But at the same time, if I'm bullying somebody and I'm only bullying one person, is it really bullying? What Thanos is going to do
is still bullying, Steve.
Thanos is about to do this thing to everybody, and it's like, so you guys are like, oh, okay, it's fair. But if I woke up and like two of my kids are gone, I'd be like, all right, this is some bullshit. Why is this 90-year-old woman next door still here? and my kids are gone. This is bullshit. So I mean, from the perspective of reality, I'd be like, all right, I ain't fucking with it. But I can see where you guys are going with it because it is random, and I will say that. But if we're comparing Thanos to Thawne, I mean, at least Thawne is only picking on one person. he's only fucking up Barry shit.
Yeah, he F with Barry. That without Barry, we don't get flashpoints. So already Barry done changed whole timelines already. Let's be real. Look at how many lives he saved. Let's be real. So Thawne had as much impact as Thanos. I'm gonna just say that right now. So you can't be mad at one and okay with the other.
It was tasteful.
Killing his mom was tasteful. Killing his mom in cold blood and having his dad be framed for murder. That's tasteful. Oh, okay. All right.
You can't choose all of Thawne's things, but only give me one Thanos thing. Bro. Come on, guys.
Thanos was trying to save all of reality. Okay.
All he did was snap his finger. That's it. And then it was a painless event. It's just dust. I mean, yes, Peter Parker might have said, I don't feel so good. Hey, look, Peter Parker can get stung by a bee, and
Peter was a necessary sacrifice. I'm sorry.
So it was painless.
For the sake of trillions.
Hey,
he made the Hulk not come out anymore. Okay.
All right. What?
That's villainous enough. All right.
I'm not gonna blame Thanos for that. I'm gonna blame Kevin Feige for making Hulk go out like that. hey, JP.
I feel like they had a good explanation because they said.
No, after reading Immortal Hulk, I can't see Hulk be a bitch. I can't see it.
But the whole thing was like, well, Banner only sees Hulk as a resource when shit hits the fan. And he's like, well, I don't want to be your fucking savior anymore. You don't appreciate me. You barely acknowledge my existence until it's convenient for you. So no, I won't help. But I'm with you, Abe. Yeah, Immortal Hulk, yeah.
It's villainous enough that he did that to the Hulk. So that supersedes everything that Thawne has ever done.
No. Don't traumatize Barry and ruin his whole youth.
Once again, he bullied one person. Thanos punched Iron Man to sleep. he beat the Hulk into never coming out again. Thanos was different. No, Thawne he just bullied one person. I can accept it.
He tortured a person throughout time.
Tortured his own daughter. Thanos,
yeah,
Thanos
adopted.
All right,
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
And Edlin brought this up earlier in chat. So with Thanos not going on his tirade to different planets, killing half of the people, what happened to Gamora? Because remember, Thanos said that Gamora's planet was on their way to becoming a dead planet like Titan until he did something. So what happened? Did Gamora leave the planet? Is that the reason why she becomes more Thanos-like? Because she picked up that ideology on her own? That it's like, you know what? In order to save all the people on my planet, I'm going to have to fucking kill half the people if I'm going to save trillions for the future. So that would be kind of interesting once we get that, but I don't know.
Very interesting. So are we moving to the next part of this?
Yeah, we're going to get into Nowhere, where we meet the Collector.
Oh, you done? Okay, well then, are you done arguing against Thanos, Steve? Are you done arguing against Thanos? Let us know, and then we ready.
I could not be done, but I mean, we could take all day with it. But I
Let's
was
move
about
on. Yeah, let's move
I
on.
was about to say Drax. When we met
Yes,
Drax.
yes, at the bar.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, part of me was like, oh, this is petty. Because we know Dave Bautista was like, they never reached out to
Yeah, they never
however,
asked him.
the executive producer was like, yeah, we reached out to everybody or their agents. So there was some miscommunication. And even then, I still don't know who's at fault. Like, I guess it's easy to say, like, there was just miscommunication on both sides, you know. But I low key, especially after everybody else was voiced by their actual actors, and then it's like, all right, Drax, and it's like, that's not Batista. I was like,
Mm.
damn, Dave.
I did enjoy the scene though, just because it was funny.
It was
funny
it
seeing
was
him
still
and T'Challa.
Drax-like. It was still
Yeah.
Drax-like for sure.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job. And then I enjoyed the fact that the same thing where you were saying like now that T'Challa is here, Thanos isn't wiping out planets and things like that. So there's never a hit out on Drax's
wife and daughter.
So
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, I got to take a picture for my wife, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, like you know what I'm saying, like so he's not as angry. He's just always like that, happy and silly and shit like that. And then he was like, I got to take another one, and then T'Challa's like, I think that first one's fine.
no, but this was literally the worst picture you've ever taken.
Yeah, I love that like kind of like he was annoyed by him as well, and it's like no matter what, Drax is gonna annoy fucking Star-Lord. Like I like that.
Yeah, man, that was really, really funny. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of sad that we didn't get Dave. And I mean, much like the first episode, we didn't get Chris Evans back as to voice Steve either. So that kind of sucked. It's like, was he busy? Like, what happened?
I mean, sometimes I guess it just be like that. They don't want to pay everybody.
But yeah, let's get into the nowhere sequence. So I love this, and a part of the bar sequence, Thanos told us that when he decided to go straight, the Collector jumped into his shoes. So he took over parts of the galaxy, and the Black Order works for him. I thought that was crazy. Proxima Midnight, head of security. I thought that was dope as fuck. And again, this is the heist elements of it, right? Like them going through the plan, talking about breaking into the Collector's facility. And one thing I loved about the Collector in this episode was that he's not nerfed like he is in the MCU. Like, you have to remember, the Collector is a cosmic being. You know what I mean? Like, he's insanely powerful. Thanos would not be able to easily, and I mean easily, kill the Collector. So I thought it was really cool that they didn't nerf him in this series. But what did you guys think of the Black Order working for the Collector?
All right, well, first of all, even before I talk about the Black Order, first of all, look how, my gosh, brawling the Collector looked. Like, my man was with the,
right?
the fur coat, shirtless, just broad shoulders, big chest, six-pack. It was like, oh, so this is what would happen if Thanos lost a lot earlier. It would have been like big man. It would have been, as me and my people like to say, HNIC. All right. If you don't know what that means, then hey, such and such. But having a Black Order, I was like, okay, I was glad that we still get more of the Black Order, because you know how I felt about the Black Order. Steve, JB, people who know me. I felt
they nerfed
like
them.
the Black Order wasn't really portrayed well like that.
They nerfed them in this episode too.
Yeah,
they did, but I was happy just to get more of them at least, even though it was like, in terms of just the highlights, it was really just Proxima and Black Dwarf who probably got the most screen time and had the most impact too, especially Proxima Midnight. So I was glad to still get them. It was like, all right, it made sense. They are a mercenary band, and instead of being adopted by, Thanos or being loyal to Thanos, had they been with him from jump, they were just like, yo, we go for the highest bidder, and right now that is the Collector. So I was definitely hyped to see that. It made me happy. I do love the Black Order so much, and man, I still lament at how nerfed they were, and I kind of get it given the situation, but I'm like, they could have really effed them hoes up even some more. Like, y'all could give Doctor Strange that work for Corvus. Give him that work, baby. He think he the head magician. He think he the sorcerer supreme. Show what you about, baby. Proxima Midnight. Hey, Scarlet Witch was talking big shit. You better F her up. Black Dwarf. I mean, Black Dwarf. I kind of think he did what he needed to do. And then what is old boy? Oh boy, the one that always runs with Proxima.
Corvus.
Corvus. So who's the one that the big-headed brain ET looking one? I forget.
That's Ebony Maw.
Oh, Ebony. Oh my goodness, Ebony Maw. I apologize. I'm like, I know I'm forgetting the name, and Ebony Maw is a dope name. Ebony Maw didn't really get that much time. He actually got out the paint back quick. They got him out.
Yeah.
And we barely saw Corvus actually. Corvus, all he did was like, "Hey, sound the alarms." I'm like, "Damn, Corvus."
Yeah, and he knocks out T'Challa later on in the episode.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, shit, it wasn't really much you could do. But Proxima was showing her chops for sure. Black Dwarf again showed his chops. So I was happy. Again, I was happy to see the Black Order. Even if they were still Nerf, I'm just happy to see them again. Because they deserve all the praise. They are so dope.
Yeah, man. Steve, have you read any of the Black Order stuff from the comics?
Nope.
I'll find some stuff.
I'm looking up all the names as we speak because I knew the Black Order like just because I've known a little bit about them, but I don't know anything like in detail. I still don't even know their names apart, like all that and stuff like that. So I was like looking them up as y'all were talking. I was actually looking them up.
Yeah, the four that we get in the MCU, we get Corvus, Proxima, Ebony Maw, and Black Dwarf.
Okay.
Yeah. And Howard the Duck gets a cameo in this episode. I thought that was really, really funny with his little cameo.
Which was great because he had a cameo originally the first time. So this is his second time. Like, and I know there've been talks about us getting more Howard the Duck, and I'm like, please do, because he actually did have a show back in the
it was a movie, right?
In the 90s.
Yeah, I believe it was a movie, yeah.
Was it the 80s or 90s? And like, mind you, back then, of course, it's looking like, all right, what is this man in the duck costume doing? But Howard the Duck is definitely one of those characters that the MCU could have fun with. So I like how they portray him. He's just like, he chilling in his case, just soup down. He got the martini. This man is drinking. He's suave. He's cool, calm, collected. He's like, hey. Yeah, by the way, so you want to get to the Ember Genesis? Is that what it was called?
The Embers of Genesis.
The Embers of Genesis. Like, so you want to go down to the I just watched Sliders before this episode. You want to go down to the Chromax, take a left at the Frost Giant, make a slight right at the Dark Elf. Then you're gonna go back to Cronus, and that's how I was just like, yo, give me some more Howard the Dark. Give me some more Howard the Dark for sure. I'm definitely down. Howard the Duck for sure. I'm definitely down for that. But I'd like that cameo. I did.
That would be dope if they give us a Howard the Duck cameo in each episode, just to kind of like tease at it a little bit. That would be kind of dope.
Bro, if they
I would not be mad at it.
If they drop a show or a movie with Howard the Duck, I'm gonna lose my shit. It's gonna be such a fun film because it's already, the idea of it is silly. So I'm not going in like, oh, this is gonna be serious. Like
he would fit in with the Guardians.
America. He
will.
Hey, Kevin Feige, I know you be watching. Careful for spoilers. I've seen you tweet about it and then delete those tweets. Don't worry, I take screenshots. I'm not about to share screenshots with y'all because, hey, y'all just don't have to take my word for it, right? But Kevin Feige, give us more Howard the Duck, baby. Give us some more.
And it's Seth Green. I mean, you might as well use the actor.
It's natural.
He's so good.
It's going to work. Seth Green is a funny guy.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of comedians, especially non-black comedians. I don't really follow him, but Seth Green, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's really funny. But like one of the next scene was one of my favorites. So he finds the Wakandan ship, and instantly we start getting some of that Black Panther score. We get some of that score from when he was in the ancestral plane talking to T'Chaka, and then he sees this message that T'Chaka has been sending the Dora Milaje into space, looking for T'Challa, like just showing that love that he had for his son. He had already scoured the planet, and he sent the Dora Milaje out into space to try to find him. So I thought that was a really, really heartfelt scene, and it's also kind of soul crushing because you see the costumes of the Dora, but we know who the Collector is, so we know that he killed them and then took their costumes. So I thought that was really, really fucked up. But that scene was so heartfelt. Just looking at that message, seeing his dad, first of all, learning that Wakanda wasn't destroyed, like Yondu said, And then to find out that his dad has spent every resource possible scouring the galaxy looking for him. Which is interesting that he didn't find him because everyone knows about Star-Lord, but that's a different conversation. But what did you guys think?
Mind you, I mean, it's not like he went by T'Challa often. You know, it's by
That's true.
Star-Lord.
Everyone knows him as Star-Lord.
Yeah,
That's true.
T'Chaka would have been who's Star-Lord. T'Chaka probably thought like, "Hey, no way, my son is gonna be an outlaw. Like he a prince. He gonna be royalty.
That's true. That's true.
So I get it. No, I get it.
I enjoyed that scene just because of the fact that you still get to see T'Chaka and his voice actor as well, because I really enjoyed his voice actor. I thought he did a really good job. I thought he did a really good job in the MCU. So it was very interesting to see that. And then I enjoyed the fact that like T'Challa was like kind of like, yo, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be gone. And just him seeing the Dora Milaje's uniform and things like that, he was just kind of like, what? And they got the little mannequins there, like he's using it as trophies. Like the collector was just like, it was kind of just like the collector's using these like outfits as like mannequin trophies and like mantles, like I got these, like these are my trophies, things like that. And it just was, T'Challa was just kind of like, yo, what the hell? And just that message on top of that, all that information that he took in probably in that 3-minute time span is just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's a big deal. And I really think people overlook those little small scenarios because like in 3 minutes of his life, it just changed everything that he's ever known. You know what I'm saying? So those things really work well to me inside of TV shows and things like that. So I really enjoyed that, like little, just that preface that you get from that.
Yeah, man. Like this episode was handled with such care. You know, the pacing was well done. The musical pieces were picked perfectly. And then Nebula shows up acting like she's double-crossed them. And then we get T'Challa inside of one of the collector's cages. And I loved that line of dialogue. It's so simple where he says, like, history has not took kindly to those who would put people in cages. So powerful in that moment, right? Because, I mean, the collector, I mean, he collects people, but he's essentially a slaver, right? Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love that parallel. It wasn't super heavy-handed, but it brought the message home, right? And I can't remember her name.
Who better to get that message? And Karina,
yes. Yeah, so that really resonated with Karina too, right? Because she was stolen from her home world only to be a slave to Devon, right? So, like, what did you guys think about that?
Look, for me, I agree with you wholeheartedly, JB. It was a simple line, had a lot of weight, but did not feel forced. And in the same note, it if I was to hear that quote from anybody else, I don't think it would have carried the weight that it did, like T'Challa. And the thing is, it's like, okay, people may be watching this and be like, you know, similar to, and we'll definitely touch upon this later on this episode when we talk about best comic book sequels and worst comic book sequels. But similar to Heath Ledger, you know, sometimes I think that people, I thought Heath Ledger as a Joker was phenomenal, but sometimes I think, is it because of him passing that elevated his status in most people's eyes to why he's considered the best iteration of Joker, live action iteration of Joker? And for me, you know, when I first heard that quote, I was like, yeah. And then as I digested the episode, I'm like, am I giving him too much credit because, you know, he passed? But when you think about it, it's like knowing who Chadwick Boseman was outside of film, knowing how he lived his life. Who better to say something like this, you know? Who better to drop this line and have it mean so much? Like, yes, there for sure is some bias because he passed, but I still think it would have hit just as strongly and just as clearly, even if he was still alive. It's like, yo, Chadwick Boseman was that type of person. He really was. I mean, as soon as I watched Message to the King, and then I think my next film was, it wasn't 42, it was Marshall, because I had a huge obsession with Thurgood Marshall when I was in first grade. Like, I my first ever Black History Month project was about Thurgood Marshall. I was like, yo, I need to know more about this guy. You know, what is he outside of acting? And it's like he is a philanthropist. I mean, even keep in mind with the whole Black Panther premiere, the efforts he went through to make sure people could see the film. And then you remember the videos that dropped, like the interviews, like, yo, people going to the premiere and basically talk about their thoughts. And then Chadwick Boseman was in the
he
back.
come surprise him, yeah.
Yeah, he surprised them. People like, oh my gosh. And then how he spoke, he was like, yo, this meant so much to me. Like, I was just overwhelmed by how much positive impact I was bringing to people's lives. That painted an image of the type of person he was even before he passed. So again, just this quote alone coming from him, I don't think it hits that strongly if it came from anybody else. And so I was just like, I know the MCU didn't know that this would happen. Kevin Feige and Cole didn't know this would happen, but fate just determined, destiny just determined that this is how it would work out. And I'm so happy that that our final memories of Chadwick Boseman in the MCU is portrayed by such meaningful, important dialogue. Honestly, it makes me really happy as just a fan, as a Black man, as an African American. Like, it makes me really, really happy.
Yeah, man.
For that line, history isn't too kind to people that put people in cages. That line was very impactful, and it was just as impactful to me as the Michael B. Jordan's last line, "Killmonger."
Yeah.
Like,
burn me in the ocean with my ancestors. Yeah, definitely that.
And it felt like a tie-in too, because he's like, we can heal you. Like, you don't have to die right now. And he was all like, why? So you can put me in chains? So you can put me in a cage? And then basically you get this parallel from what T'Challa says, where he's like, history isn't too kind to people that puts people in cages. And I'm like, yo, this is a nice parallel. Like, yo, this is...
Thank you so much for bringing that up.
I thought that was a nice parallel between those two lines.
Yeah, man. Amazing parallel. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I didn't even think about that parallel in that moment.
Yeah. I had a little time to think, Abe went first.
Hey, a little time. As long as I help my CEO of Inside the Modern World, I'm doing my job. As is, like, is it safe to say I'm your right hand man? Can I say that? Because Cam might have other words, but I'm gonna just say it because Cam could probably I am Steve's right hand man. All right, y'all. So just deal with it. See how I set up the alley first? Woo! Look at him oop that bitch.
But real quick before we move on to the T'Challa Collector fight, so on the topic of Heath Ledger's performance, right? So I think his performance is still beyond legendary, beyond a comic book movie. I think it's just one of the best performances I've ever seen. Now, as far as his posthumous impact, I don't think he would have gotten the Oscar if he didn't die. Yeah. That's where I think the difference is. I think he would have been nominated, but I don't think he actually would have won if he didn't pass, right? But his performance, it's still one of the best performances I've ever seen from a human being. It's just transcendent beyond so many different things. Like being an actor is transforming, and even though I'm staring at him, I know beyond that makeup, that is Heath Ledger. In his eyes, it was someone else, bro. It was someone else. He truly transformed.
Method acting is a whole different branch of acting, because there's times where Will Smith is on the screen and I see Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? But when they're in that character where they're actually method acting, that's a whole different level. So yeah, and I mean, I don't know how many movies I've seen with Heath Ledger. When they were like, oh, he's gonna play the Joker, I'm like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was like, yeah, fucking right. And then when it happened, it was like, oh yeah. I was like, okay.
I have no problems saying that I was one of those people. I was like, the fucking dude from 10 Things I Hate About You? The guy from A Knight's Tale? The guy from Brokeback Mountain? Good actor, but Joker?
Yeah,
what?
I was like, no, there's no way.
I was one of those people, bro.
And
then he takes off the mask for the first time and he says that first piece of dialogue, and I was like, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. This is the performance, bro. Every monologue he gives, fucking legendary, bro. But let's continue here. So we get the We get the scene with Nebula breaking down the rest of T'Challa's plan to everyone else that didn't know what was going on. We find out that she was able to get the embers of Genesis, and then we get the T'Challa versus Collector fight. Now this was really, really dope because we got to see the Collector use some of the things that he's collected, which will be one of Korg's race. I can't remember right now, but an arm from one of Korg's race.
I think
Malekith's. You think it? So you think it was Korg? Oh
the
man,
way,
because he said the one that talks too much.
Yeah, he said.
Oh shit, that's right.
He did, yeah.
I think it was Korg.
It was Korg.
No.
Korg got out the fucking paint, dog. That is gore.
Yeah, man. But yeah. So he got his arm. He was using Malekith's dagger. He has Cap's shield, Mjolnir, and Hela's helmet. So what did you get, Steve? I want to start with you. What did you think about that fight between T'Challa and Collector? First of all, remember, T'Challa's just a guy, right? He's not like Peter Quill that's like half fucking celestial, right? So he was just this regular guy up against the Collector. So what did you think about that fight?
I thought the fight was pretty good. I definitely love the fact that he's climbing, like T'Challa's climbing on shit, giving you that Panther feel still. Like, I noticed that they did those little details. He was climbing on things, jumping off, doing that. And then as far as, like you said, with the Collector, with all of those, it was so cool when they revealed that whole case back there. And I was like, yo, he's bodying people. To have Mjolnir and all this other stuff, and I don't know who fucking picked up Mjolnir, but like,
right? How the fuck did he get it? Who was worthy to? I mean, I that's what I want to know. Give me the comic on how the fuck he got the hammer.
But the only thing I will say is that it's possible, because I know, like, he had the fucking reality stone the entire Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He just didn't know. And then he has the Power Stone, first bidder. No, I'm saying they stole it, and then of course the Collector ends up with it. So maybe there's this reality where he has the Power Stone and the Reality Stone. He used the Reality Stone to pick up Mjolnir. I don't know, but the fact that he had it, I was just like, what the fuck? But yeah. But that fight was really dope to me. I really enjoyed that they showed the sequence of him climbing on things and doing like that, the kind of Panther-esque type of things. And then at the same time that fight's going on, isn't the fight kind of with Thanos going on as well? Yeah. Oh, you're muted, JB.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Thanos and Black Order, that fight happens too. Which, and we can talk about that once you're done and Abe goes. But that fight with Thanos and the Black Order, didn't really like it, and I'll explain why once I talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wait, am I moving on to what am I?
You can talk the T'Challa versus the Collector, and then you can go into. Thanos versus
okay.
The Black
Order. For some reason I've been geeking so much I forgot like what am I supposed to be talking about. Anytime I can give praise to this episode, I've been excited. I definitely like the use of the different items and the fact that, okay, first of all, we saw Captain America's shield for sure, but then Hela's helmet.
How did you kill Hel?
The Asgardian goddess of death, the one who was effing them niggas up in Thor 3, you pulled that shit. I was like, oh god.
Remember, he is a cosmic being, man. So
I was like, yo, bro, like, hey, in the MCU, you were nerfed. And the what if they gave you your just roses? I'm like, nah, not this man flexing like this. He was like, how you feel about this? You know what? Let me hit you with something else. And he was like, trying to take the helmet away. No, it's gonna come right back. I was like, yo, this man. For some reason, when he first took off his fur coat, I was actually kind of expecting him to have the White Tiger outfit. From for those who are familiar with the Black Panther comics, I fully expect him to just pull out the whole Black Panther attire, but the White Tiger is the White Tiger, right? I believe so. It's the White Tiger or White Lion. I forget.
I mean, it's White Wolf.
White Wolf. There we go. I'm messing up today. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been drinking. Okay. Anyway, I thought he would pull out the White Wolf attire, and I was like, ooh, first of all, that means T'Challa, you definitely did have a brother. Collector took him out the paint. I was like, oh, he took him out space. So he visited. He definitely visited the Wakanda and took somebody out. But of course, I like the use of the different abilities and how he showcased them and just the homage it paid to other characters in the MCU. Now, as far as what transpired afterward, in terms of the Proxima and Black Dwarf fight versus Thanos, um, I was okay with it. I didn't really have anything negative about it, but I wasn't really hyped about the fight too because Nebula was like, "Yo, you won't survive." He's like, first of all, he's like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, "No, I'm
I'm
mad." I'm like,
mad.
"Okay, this is very Hulk ash."
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, I mean, it is Thanos. I guess Thanos is nerf kind of because he's like, hey, while genocide is efficient, hey, I'm a Ravager. I was like, okay. And then he was just brawling through the foot soldiers until he got to Black Dwarf and Proxima and how they were really doing a number on him. And I
Which
don't
doesn't
know.
make sense to me
Yeah.
Yeah,
because Thanos is
that
much
fight
stronger than all of them.
Yeah.
that fight and the beginning of the Collector versus Yondu T'Challa fight, I just kept thinking of Cap and Bucky versus Iron Man.
I
I
did
just
too.
it just every time I saw them fight, I was just like, this is too close at Cap and Bucky. Giving Tony Stark all he can handle,
Yeah,
and I
the
don't
V
know, it
work.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't really improve much to me because if out of the entire fight, out of both fights, definitely, if you were to compare it ideally to the Civil War fight, it would be Black Dwarf and Corvus versus Black Dwarf and Proxima versus Thanos. That was as close to Iron Man versus Captain Bucky as we could possibly get because Thanos was getting his ass worked, and
Yeah, but
like you said, JB, this is the Mad Titan. Like,
Yeah. I
yo,
didn't. I
it's
wasn't.
like did we forget that Thanos can absorb cosmic energy? Is that something that the MCU
like,
just like
did we
forgot?
forget that he stands on the same level as the Eternals, low key?
Yeah.
Like Proxima and the Black Dwarf don't compare. Like, not you already nerfing the Black Order and then further nerfing the Mad Titan. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. I mean,
Like you said, he's
again,
pretty much an eternal.
yeah,
Like the fuck?
The only
again, it
reason.
wasn't enough to make me be like, yo, you lose points. But I was like, you know,
I knew that they nerfed him because of the fact that he's even though he is a Ravager, but he's still like not like in charge of the Ravagers. For him to be as super strong as he should be in charge of the Ravagers.
hey,
Like Star Lord shouldn't be
sometimes
doing
that
shit.
talk no jutsu be doing the work you need to. And T'Challa got that swag where everybody's like, you know what, I'll listen to you. He got the charisma.
I mean,
Where if he's going to convince the Mad Titan to give up his genocidal tendencies, I can see him being like, hey, he's the only person I answer to. I can see that. I can see it.
yeah, but I mean, I knew that the nerf was happening. I just could feel it, but I just didn't think it was gonna be like that. That was a huge nerf for Thanos, like huge. I was not expecting that. And then they almost offed him. And they give you that little quick moment where Nebula saves them, saves
Yeah.
Daddy. But I was just that. It was definitely one of those
Daughter.
moments where I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I definitely felt like he was nerfed.
Oh, he for sure was nerfed heavy.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, like we already said, the Black Order was nerfing the regular MCU film, like the main universe,
Yeah,
and they were still nerfed in What If. And for them to be whooping Thanos like that, Thanos was
Dude,
severely
the
hurt.
Black Order submits to Thanos because he's superior in every way possible. Two
yeah.
of them would not be able to beat him. It
And see,
made no sense at all.
I only know a little bit about the Black Order, so just like I was just like, this can't be right. Like just because I was just like they answered to him, and the way Thanos, like I said, the way he pretty much was giving Hulk the business, he didn't have all those reality stones like that. I mean, all
Yeah.
those Infinity Stones like that.
He
He
didn't
had
use
like,
any of them against Hulk.
yeah, he beat the break out of him, and his
Until the end, then he pulled out the Power Stone and was like, all right,
yeah, let
just
me,
remind you
because
who
you're
you're
getting
messing with.
madder, and
Yeah.
I don't have time. He was like, you're getting angry, and I don't have time. So he just went on and finished it.
Yeah, but let's get into the final scene before we talk about the end credit scene, where T'Challa and Yondu escape. Oh, so no, before we get to that. So Nebula feeds Black Dwarf some of the embers and he literally expands until he explodes. I thought that was insane. I thought that was so sick.
Yeah.
Dog, you know how people years ago when it was about Disney doing the MCU and whatnot, we were like, oh, Disney's not willing to go that route. They're not gonna go dark. Everything's gonna be very happy-go-lucky, i.e. Thor 3, which I will speak about later in the show. I was like, I mean, you
Crazy.
didn't need to be extra bloody or whatnot, but that was a really effed up way to get the
Get
Black
off.
Dwarf out the paint. Like, you basically said, hey, the embers of Genesis just grew within him and tore him apart. I was like, yo, that's a vicious way to go.
Yeah, bro.
That's a vicious way
What's
to go.
crazy is that we learned that 3 of them is enough to replenish the entire planet.
Yo,
planet,
and she
bro.
had a whole
And she fed
bottle.
them. She fed multiple of them into a person, like into a, like I was like, that's crazy.
I was shocked. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is low key dark without being messy, but still dark. But I was rocking with it. I'm like, all right, Disney, I see what y'all about. Look, if I had any doubts about you willing to encapsulate dark moments in film or your shows, fully erased right now because of how dirty you did the Black Dwarf.
Yeah.
My man just ripped apart by him. He
Yeah, I
just got
mean,
terrible.
and Nebula shot Ebony Maw point blank range in the chest.
Yeah.
She put a giant hole in his chest. But I love this final scene where T'Challa and Yondu escape from nowhere on the Wakandan ship. Love that. And they have this great moment where they talk to each other. And T'Challa's like, I don't really know where to go from here. Right? And I love this moment between him and Yondu. And then they end up going to Wakanda. Getting to see Thanos in Wakanda, talking to Okoye. Right? Watching Korath talk to other members of Wakanda. So I thought this was a really, really great ending to the episode. T'Challa reuniting with his father again. T'Challa being with his old family and his new family all together in his old homeworld. So I thought that was a really great way to round out T'Challa's part of the episode. So what did you guys think of T'Challa and Yondu's relationship in general? Do you like it a little bit more than his relationship with Quill? And what did you think about T'Challa and the Ravagers in Wakanda?
So T'Challa and Yondu's relationship from a happy comedic point, I enjoyed more. But obviously we didn't get to see the father-son relationship because we only had 30 minutes. Whereas like in Guardians of the Galaxy, we got more time to bond with that. And we got to see how much him and Peter, their father-son bond and everything like that came, and how much he actually did care for him and stuff like that. Even in the second one, at the second one where he's like, that that dude might be your father, but I'm your daddy. Types those type of bonds and things you can't get that in 30 minutes. So I would say that I enjoyed their relationship from the personal standpoint a little better. The ending, I enjoyed the ending a lot just because you get to see everybody just happy over, a feast and everything like that. T'Chaka is still alive. This is a universe, he's not dead.
Yes.
Like that. And then you can even your mind starts to wonder, is T'Challa now Star-Lord and possibly Black Panther? Because that would be crazy if he has the power of the Black Panther. And
so
then,
someone else would have to be Black Panther because T'Chaka's too old right now. So technically he would have had to give in the mantle to someone else, but
someone else. And you did notice that at the opening sequence or whatever, there's two. In that sequence before when they get there, there's 2 thrones side by side, and I'm wondering, is it his wife or is it possibly the actual, Black Panther? It's ambiguous, what I'm saying, for you to remind one. But I'm wondering, like, does T'Challa get a challenge day and possibly become the Black Panther? And if he could have those powers and then somehow go to the galaxy as Star-Lord, that would make that shit even more nuts, just in general seeing that. So I enjoyed that ending.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Abe?
For me, it was just, again, more hilarity because you have Okoye talking to Thanos, And she's like, that sounds like genocide. He's like, but it's efficient. He's like,
But it's efficient.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Not Thanos out here spitting game at a member of the Dora Milaje and Okoye of all people. I'm like, okay, Thanos, I see you got good taste. I see you got. And by the way, that is my wife, Okoye, and Danny. That's my boo. And then you have Korav being like, if I was to put a label on it, yeah, me and Star, we best friends. It's like, yo, you are such a bad boy. You are such a bad boy. And then, of course, Debbie will be like, oh my gosh, Dad, you embarrassing me. And the one that I just started, I couldn't help but start laughing. He's like, T'Chaka's like, so I'm not understanding how my son still ended up on your spacecraft. And Yondu was like, well, sir, you see, I was given a job. And T'Challa was like, you found me when I was lost. And I was like, yo.
Beautiful.
If that was if you needed a very clear-cut way to say, like, T'Challa saw Yondu as still a member of his family, as a father figure, that was it right there.
Yeah,
that was it right there. And I was like, hey, he got two families. He's been away from one for a long time, but they're still family. And now he gets to bring them together and have fun and be festive and celebrate. I loved it, dog. I loved it. I was a big fan of the ending. I was a big fan.
It was a great ending. Like what Edlin brought up, like, what if T'Chaka's brother, Njobu, I think is his name?
Oh,
what
man.
if he never went to the States? What if he stayed in Wakanda? What if Killmonger grew up in Wakanda and he became the Black Panther?
Ooh.
Because, I mean, we know that we're going to see, but that's a completely different universe that we're going to see him become the king, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that'll be very interesting. Like, did T'Chaka send any war dogs out into different countries because he sent a bunch of people into space to look for T'Challa? There's a lot of questions, man. What if indeed? But there was one thing that I did skip, and I apologize. But it was T'Challa, Yondu, and his assistant. I keep forgetting her name. But they locked him in a cage, and she let everyone free. And I hope they kill him. Karina, yes. Yeah, Karina, thank you again. I really hope they all killed him. I really do. What do you guys think happened to Vaughn?
Oh, he out the paint. I mean, he is a cosmic entity still, so worst case scenario, it might be that thing where, like, he's not dead, but they basically tortured him and they got until they were tired out, and then it's just like, hey, you could be immortal, you could be, all powerful, but you could still take these hits and you could still feel pain. That's what I felt like, because the collector seemed like that type of character where he's not used to getting hit. He's not used to taking punches from that. But my man just got stripped of his items and he just got jumped by a multitude of entities from different species.
Yeah, there's some beasts in there and that.
Yeah, he definitely getting touched up. Maybe not killed, but definitely getting touched up. He's gonna feel all their anger. I thought it was justifiable. I felt like, all right, good way to. Again, it goes back to what was said. History is not kind to those who lock others in cages. Yep. And Karina said
exactly.
And that's why Karina turned on and shot Ebony Maw. She was like, I like what you had to say. I agree. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, hey, remember what our boy T'Challa said? Everybody out. He's like, I'll put a roof over y'all heads. I was like,
that's what you going with?
4x7 box. Come on, dog. I don't even have. Howard the Duck clearly had the most luxury because my man was able to sit in the suit and clearly have unlimited drinks and a sofa to sit in, a couch to sit in. Everybody else was just standing like, yo, I could do the David thinking pose, or I could just stand here and just be like, I don't got much movement, so it should whoop your ass.
Yeah, man, this was an incredible episode, and then to top it all off, the final scene that we get is Peter Quill listening to music, mopping up inside of a Dairy Queen, and fucking Ego shows up. Now, This is a Peter Quill that has not have all of these experiences fighting throughout the galaxy. He doesn't have the Guardians to have his back, and Ego is going to get exactly what he wants. So we'll get to see. I'm hoping we get to see T'Challa and the Ravagers have to find a way to stop Ego from using Quill as a fucking battery, essentially, to take over the galaxy. So that's going to be really dope. However, they continue this story. So what do you guys think of that end scene?
I thought it was crazy, especially because it was just like when he shows up, he's like, "Hello, son," kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's about to try to bond with him, but you know he's about to manipulate the fuck out of him, and you're gonna see that, and that's like I said, like if they continue on with this universe, which would be cool, if they kind of like come back to it or something like that, you'll get to see Star-Lord possibly, and I mean T'Challa as Star-Lord and possibly Black Panther. And that I think that would be really, really dope to see him being basically two characters kind of meshed into one. And then like you still get the Mad Titan of Thanos fighting with the Dora Milaje. That I think that's just gonna be absolutely nuts if they continue it. And that's the what if of this kind of episode, because it's like, are they gonna continue it? Because you know what I'm saying, we just gonna leave on a cliffhanger and just wonder what's gonna happen with Ego. And if he does fuse with Peter Quill, I mean, who's gonna stop him?
Exactly, right?
Because the only person that could stop him was his son, and now it's like his son has no reason to be like, "Hey, yeah, let me fight against my dad." He's just like, "Who is this? Oh my God, I know nothing about my own lineage and whatnot. I just mop floors at a diner."
At Dairy Queen. I would like to see
Not a Dairy Queen. Oh my God.
I would like to see the galaxy too.
But yeah, man, incredible what if episode. Definitely a step up from the first episode in my opinion. Loved the Captain Carter episode, but like I said, I felt like it had just a little bit pacing issues. It just felt a little too rushed for me personally. But this T'Challa episode, perfectly paced. Love the musical pieces that they put in. The animation is still on point. Love the changes that they made to the universe. Absolutely loved it. Any other final thoughts before we move on to the next segment?
I saw on Twitter some guy that has early access. He was saying by episode 5 it gets better and better each episode. So if this is episode 2, and it was definitely, to me, it was definitely better than episode 1.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna get better and better, I'm wondering what are we about to see.
I think the Vision episode is going to be insane because Vision is wearing an Ultron suit with the Infinity Stones embedded in the armor. So it's like, what?
Excuse me.
Like, wait, huh?
There's a lot going on with that one when we get to Vision. In terms of me, my last thoughts on this was with the cool thing, like I said, as long as I was in Wakanda or I was out in space, R.I.P. Earth, ain't got nothing to do with me. But I love especially how the Watcher said, like, while one family reunion was going on, another one. It's just like, again, going back to the very beginning. Just because Yondu decided not to do it himself, like, not only did this change T'Challa's life and Wakanda's life, but Peter Quill never became Star-Lord, and see what happens. Yep. It's like, ooh, like, we could be like, yo, Yondu, you did the right thing, and it's like, but did he really? That's up for debate. Overall, just a great episode. I am excited for future episodes because, when we talked about it, after we saw the Captain Carter one, we're like, yo, this was really fun, really good. And then it's that we were told that episode 2 would be the Chadwick Boseman one. It's like, yo, that's literally the week before his death. Like, he died August 28th. Y'all dropping this, what was it, August 19th or 18th? 18th.
Yeah.
Because it was your birthday, Steve. I'm like, Marvel know what they doing. I was kind of surprised they didn't drop it the week of. But I'm like, you got to drop it at least within the next 3 weeks. Either this week, next week, or the week after. If you're going to have this Chadwick Boseman episode, the first one, you're going to have to drop it within that span while, still mourning his loss after 1 year. But it has me really hyped for episode 3. Definitely has me hyped for the future Boseman episodes. I'm really excited. Marvel's What If is doing a great job. Especially, I didn't even pay attention to how long this episode was. I know episode 1 was 33 minutes.
32 minutes minus credits.
Yo, it was. I didn't even look at the timestamp at all. I was just like, yo, this was very well done. I did not feel like it needed to be longer. I did not feel like it was too short. I felt like, or it was too long. I was like, this is a really good episode. I don't know how much time I spent watching this, but this is a really good episode. So I'm very pleased with what If has provided us so far through the first 2 weeks. Very pleased.
Yeah, man. Can't wait to see where the rest of it goes. And Animal, I'm with you, man. Like, I want to know how Gamora becomes the Mad Titan. We kind of briefly talked about it earlier, where it's like, much like Thanos' motivation, he saw that his planet was using up all of their resources, and that's how he came up with that plan. We know for a fact that Gamora's planet was having the exact same issue. They didn't have enough resources for the amount of people that was populating the planet. So I think it's going to be the exact same thing as what happened to Thanos. She was the one that realized, I am burdened with glorious purpose, and I am going to sacrifice half of my people in order to make sure that trillions more have a life on this planet in the future. And then she decides to take that and take it out into the universe to save everyone else. That's just my thoughts on it. I think that would be a cool way to flip it on its head, but I'm very, very, very excited for that. But yeah,
what's next week's episode?
I believe episode 3 is Loki Invasion, whatever that means.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe that's what it's called, Loki Invasion or something like that.
Well, I'm curious because the third pop to drop is the What If Gamora, and so far we have 3 What If Funko Pops dropping, and it was T'Challa, Captain Carter, and now Gamora. I was like, yo, so is Gamora episode 3? Is she gonna be involved with this Loki invasion? Like, is that why, in the world where Thanos just do what it does, she linked up with Loki? Well, who knows? Because, hey, maybe it's just a deflection, because when that Loki Funko What If Pop drops, oh, well, them pre-orders about to sell out quick.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to sell out.
Already pre-ordered multiple quantities of each one so far, because first of all, shout out to Spicy Lady gaming right now. She's on Twitch streaming us on her stream. Shout out to you, Spicy. You know how we talk.
She is, huh?
It's all love. Hey, Steve, you don't be in her notifications. You don't be getting alerts.
I was just
Spicy. Scuba is a terrible person.
No, I was just in there.
He don't love you like I do.
She was playing Genshin.
I still kept on my phone, baby. Anyway, shout out to you. But yeah, just to remind everybody, sign up to Careful for Spoilers $3 Patreon subscription, and you'll be eligible for a chance to win a Funko Pop, one of the 3 Funko Pops releasing. We'll have multiple winners, of course, releasing. And I know Spicy Lady got a surprise for y'all too.
Oh yeah.
Wait on her to tell y'all. Giveaways galore. I'm just gonna say that. But anyway, continue.
But yeah, man, this was, like I said before, an incredible episode. Can't wait to see what the Loki invasion is going to be like, and just to see what the other 7 episodes of What If will give us. Right, like I already said, my most anticipated one as of this moment is the one with Vision. Like, that one is going to be an insane episode. Can't wait to see where that goes. For the sake of time, because we're already at the 2-hour mark, I think I want to save the best and worst comic book movie sequels for a different episode. I think we could have an entire episode that's just that, and we can geek out and have a really, really fun time. Like, I don't want the show to go to 3 hours, and I don't want it to feel like we're just throwing shit in, trying to make it fit for this episode. So I would prefer...
I didn't realize we went 2 hours talking about What If.
Yeah, straight up 90 minutes just on What If.
Great. The news was great too, though.
Yeah, so that's true. I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? It would be way more fun. It would be way more beneficial for the audience as well if we did an entire episode just focused on the best and worst comic book movie sequels. So we'll probably do that maybe after What If, because there's some other stuff that we want to combine with What If for the rest of the episodes. So stay tuned for that. That'll actually give us some time to maybe rewatch more of those sequels. And yeah, it'll be a really, really fun episode. I know we can talk for like 2.5 hours just on best and worst comic book sequels. So yeah, so if you guys are okay with that, we're gonna set that up for a completely different episode. I think it's gonna be so much fun to set that up a little bit later. So Abe, I'm gonna toss it to you and go ahead and tell the people who have won the 2 Kang variants.
Yeah, okay. Well, hold on. First of all, oh gosh, I was expecting to do that thing, pull up the thing while we was talking about that. I was not ready for that. But I will say this while I stall for time. Spicy.
My bad, bro. I know I didn't give you
No, it's
heads
all
up.
good. Spicy said that she wants to be on that episode with me.
Done and done.
That's the worst and best sequels. By the way. But yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to stall for 5 minutes. All right, y'all go ahead and do that real quick.
Yeah, so as a teaser, right? As a teaser of one of the movies that I think is one of the worst comic book movie sequels ever made, it has to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's one of them. That was like my number 5 out of all of the movies that I had on my worst list. I think it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. The fact that they gave Jamie Foxx this comb over, this straight hair comb over bullshit with this gap tooth and all of this other shit, like that movie was a
They were trying to add some method acting in there. That's what they were trying to do.
Oh god, it was just so terrible. Because I get it, right? Because in the comics you always get these weird wacky characters that feel like they don't get the attention they deserve from their heroes, and they ended up becoming villains. But in a live action movie it doesn't work that way. And again, Sony was trying to rush to a Sinister Six movie so quickly that they just threw as many villains as possible in this fucking movie. Besides the web slinging and the VFX, I think this movie is unwatchable fucking garbage. There is an entire subplot with Mary Jane that was completely cut out of the entire fucking movie that doesn't even exist. You don't even see Shailene Woodley in the movie. If you look at the trailers for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there's barely any of those scenes in the actual fucking movie. It was an absolute dog shit trash fire. We get Green Goblin, and his design is fucking terrible. Oh. He just comes out of nowhere. He perfectly knows how to fly the glider perfectly. The Rhino, you get Paul Giamatti to be the Rhino, and he sounds like fucking Count Chocula. I'm the Rhino! I was like, who made this, bro? But yeah, I'll go in depth in a lot more of that stuff when we get into the episode. But yeah, a small teaser of one of the things that's going to be on my list. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, absolute fucking dog shit. Steve, give the people a teaser of one of the ones that was going to be on your list.
Iron Man 2 and 3.
Iron Man 2, really? Okay.
Yeah. Iron Man 2 and 3 are bad to me. Like I don't want to say that they were so bad because they were bad. I think that they had a lot to hold up to. Facts. As far as the first Iron Man. The first Iron Man was absolutely great. So then I just was like, Iron Man 2 was okay. It just wasn't that, it didn't meet the standards of Iron Man 1. And obviously I'm not giving my full list because, my real list is like an honorable mention. So Iron Man 2 was just like, I could live without it. I've watched it that one time. I've never rewatched it. Really? Iron Man 2. And maybe that could be a problem. But then Iron Man 3 was just worse. it just got worse. And I was just like, all right, this shit is bad. And I was like, I don't understand why it's so bad, because Iron Man should be like a copy paste kind of thing, where it was just like the story, the material is there for you. And I just really feel like all those Iron Man suits, things like that they were trying to incorporate just wasn't working. So I thought Iron Man 3 was the worst one, of course. And then Iron Man 2, I just was like, man, because you had to meet the expectations of Iron Man 1. But this is an honorable mention. It wasn't even in my top 5. I'm just stalling for 8 because there's some worse. That list that you had, I was like,
Dude,
Jesus.
right? There's so much dog shit in there. Yo, Spicy Dark Phoenix is one of the worst pieces of shit. It's on my list too. I won't
Yeah.
say where,
Wait,
but it's on my
I didn't
it's on
see
my
it.
list too.
I didn't
Yeah,
see it on
Dark
the notes. Did I miss that? Well, first of
Oh,
all,
it's in there, bro.
It's in there.
Because
It's in
I
there.
purposely didn't watch that. Like, I've seen all the movies except for the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man because I refused. But
First
I
one's good.
purposely made sure not to watch Dark Phoenix. As a result, it didn't make my list because I didn't put it on. But hey, I appreciate y'all for starting because I do have our two winners. Can I get a drum roll, please?
I wish I had the soundbite.
Hey, it's fine. All right, so keep in mind we do have 4 issues of Kang. I know Sam, the manga man, had talked about he has this cover. This is the original cover.
Yeah.
Then we have this variant, which is pretty dope. We also have this variant, which is actually really, really cool with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, amazing cover. I got that one too.
And then, oh man, look at the Pharaoh. We have
Right?
this
Oh
cover
my
as well.
god.
So all 4 are up for grabs, but we have 2 winners. So all you need to do, once I announce your name, is basically just DM me on Twitter. If you have Twitter at Prince_A Lawal ALAWAL. If you don't have Twitter, Instagram. I hope you all have Twitter. Please tell me you have Twitter. I'm just assuming y'all have Twitter. So the first winner is A Slaughter. I believe that's the name. You want I'm trusting Steve. So if that's not your name and you never existed, blame Steve.
No.
Okay, so A Slaughter, you get first dibs on one of the 4 copies. DM me. Let me know which one you want. I will get that to you not next week because I'm in the process of moving. But once I get settled, so sometime next weekend I'll mail it out. And the second winner is Almighty Fish Mix. You also won.
Hey.
When A Slaughter picks whichever one they want, they'll leave you with 3 other options. You let me know via DMs. I'll let you know, and you pick that. So shout out to our 2 winners. Of course, like I said, there'll be more giveaways in the future. All you gotta do is just subscribe to Careful for Spoilers. Follow the Blerd Mind Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Follow OSN A Podcast on Twitter. Just support what we do. Support what we do. We do this because we appreciate y'all, and in terms of the least we can do is just continue showing out for us. So shout out to A Slaughter and Almighty Fish Mix for winning the Kang giveaway. Our next giveaway will be the Funko Pops. We will have a T'Challa one. We'll have a Gamora one, and we'll have a Captain Carter one. They all drop September 3rd. However, if you are subscribed to the $3 Patreon tier for Careful for Spoilers, the link is in the bio for sure. You are automatically eligible for a chance to win. There's going to be either one winner who wins all 3, or 3 winners who win first come, first serve, whichever one gets picked out first. So we appreciate all your support. We appreciate all the love. And I guess I'll just go into my closing, JB.
Yeah, go ahead. Give them your plugs.
So, my plugs. Words are failing me. This is what happens when you have a strawberry daiquiri and then some. You know me, Prince Elawal, Prince Eshu, son of Darkseid, Laburu himself, Anikulapo, the Jin of Apocalypse, a Kang variant. You can follow me on all forms of social media. My link tree is definitely in the bio, and it's also in the bio for my Twitter. That is Prince_ALAWAL. I am one half of the OSN 8 podcast. For all my fans, for everybody who likes hearing about sports and culture, that's where we definitely just talk about everything with me and Osa. Episodes drop Wednesday. We do have a never before heard episode dropping with the homie Sean Lowry. Shout out to Dreamer's Ambition. That will be dropping this Sunday. I am also a co-host and editor for Inside the Mind of a Blerd. Steve is the CEO, so definitely check us out. A new episode just dropped on the YouTube channel. Gaming with a Blerd part like 5 or 6 with Spicy Lady. She was in that bit. Or was that the comics one? I forget. I'm sorry, Alpha. Don't cuss me out. Definitely check that out. Of course, Anime Lately. Definitely peep them. And of course, careful for spoilers. Of course, Spicy Lady. Follow all of them. I'm blessed to be working in some form of capacity with all those brands, and it's fun. I enjoy it. Uh, Inside the Mind of a Blerd's Twitter that I run is the Blerd Mind Pod. Definitely check us out. Head visit our Linktree. It's on the Twitter account and buy some merch from us. Also, an Abe merch will be coming ideally October 1st, but with certain things popping up in life, it might get pushed back, but it'll be definitely in October. Look out for that. It'll be fun. And yeah, me, the son of dark side. You know how I'll be coming. So appreciate y'all for tuning in today. I had a lot of fun as always.
Steve?
Sorry, I had to say something because Bo fucking dabbed in 2021, and that's just unacceptable. but yeah, my name is Scuba Steve 1428 on all social media.
Wait, I have to interrupt Steve because not Steve messaging me his name 3 times as if that was like 3 different entries. He could get into this whole content. See, I'm glad you ain't win because this man tried to rig the whole thing. Okay,
oh, what? I did not.
You texted me, you said me, and then you said Scuba Steve, and I just look, it's S McGee 1428. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Those are my variants. It's a Kang book.
Okay, not your variants. I'm into the YouTube trying to win. Okay, all right. I see what you up to, boss.
What? Hey, don't listen to him. He's lying, guys. So, but yeah, you can follow me at Scuba Steve 1428 on social media. A pretty much went down the list as far as everything. Inside the Mind of a Blerd that I'm working with, my Naka Mixer with the homie Black that was inside of the stream. And then I also do Skylar and Scuba Steve with my daughter. That's bi-weekly. So yeah, you guys can also just pull up whenever you guys want to and show us love on YouTube. And we'll start, I'm actually gonna start streaming as well on Twitch. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Like Abe said, like, we are fortunate enough to be like in a close circle of amazing content creators. I'm so glad that I found all of you guys, that we got to meet up and that we get to make content together. Like, I love every single one of you guys. Like, I love talking to you guys every single week. Can't wait to have Spicy on next week. That's going to be fucking lit. Yeah, so make sure you guys are following Inside the Mind of the Blerd. Make sure you guys are following Osa and Abe. Make sure you guys are following Anime Lately, Spicy Lady Entertainment. Of course, careful for spoilers, because you're going to be doing a lot more giveaways, a lot more lit content for you guys. Steve just wrote an incredible review of Superior Iron Man that is up on the website right now. Check it out. Again, incredible review. And Steve is going to be doing a lot more comic book reviews on the website. Vash and Steve, depending on schedules, will be doing some mini comic reviews. Maybe here and there they'll be doing a review of like the new issues that come out. Maybe bi-weekly or monthly, depends. We have to work all of that stuff out behind the scenes. But yeah, man, got a lot of great content coming for you guys. Make sure you follow all of the socials. Follow me at JB Exclusive. You want to find everything that we do, head over to carefulforspoilers.com. You'll get links to the Patreon, the merch store. You'll also find all of the links to all of our social media, all of the other podcasts that are on the C4S Podcast Network. Everything you can find on the hub at carefulforspoilers.com. So yeah, man, guys, this was an incredible episode. Really appreciate you guys being here. We miss Vash, but he is working really hard doing some production work right now. But he should be on next week, where we're going to be talking about What If Episode 3 and potentially Titans Episode 1. Really all depends, making sure we're all caught up. But we want to review Titans Season 1, now that Season 3 has debuted the first couple of episodes. So yeah, again, lots of great content coming for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're following us. And for the whole team, we will see you guys on the next one.